Hey everyone, hope you're having a great week and welcome to another Bona Training Camp video. Today we're going to talk about usage of the power drive in your business, how you can best utilize it to create great floors every time. And look, since it came out in 2014, the power drive has been an absolute game changer to how professionals approach sanding their floors and the surfaces you're creating. In fact, it's probably the best machine innovation in our industry since the 1940s, after World War II, when they introduced drum machines, eventually led to belt sanders and then to edgers to replace hand scraping floors. But since then, there's really been a true void in our industry as far as innovation on the machinery side, except maybe for the 90s when we introduced dust containment systems, which were a game changer themselves. But the power drive came along and completely changed the way guys looked at sanding versus the old school method of sander, edge, sander, edge, sander, edge, screen. Now a lot of guys, if they're not using power drive all the way through their system, maybe they're starting out with their belt sander and then going straight to power drive to help reduce their edging by 50 to 80%, using it for all the intermediate and fine sanding and even in between coats when they're going sealer, finish, etc. One of the big things with the power drive is it has an incredibly low learning curve. And that means I can take a new guy, somebody who has no experience in the business, maybe put 10, 15 minutes training with them and then turn them loose, knowing that they're going to get professional results on about 99% of that floor. I don't have to worry about drum marks, edger digs in the corners. I'll be able to set them free, and that just increases my productivity and that confidence of putting the new guy on a machine. Also, we like to talk about it being all directional, and really there's best ways to run it, right? Certain directions you should run it, certain positions on the machine. But what we mean by all directional is if you get in a tough situation, maybe it's a storage closet underneath the stairway that's pretty tight. It's a hallway that's laid crossways that you have two choices. I can lightly run my sander across it and create all kinds of crazy cross-grain scratches, or I can edge out that whole floor. Not great options. With the power drive, I can go in and sand that floor back and forth. I could go straight up and down with it. And I'm just not worried about putting those crazy cross-grain scratches that I would with a belt sander. Behind a kitchen island on one side, it's always going to be short where you can't really fit your sander in there, maybe under pantry shelves, things like that. So that's kind of what we mean by all directional is places that you couldn't put a sanding machine because it's either too tight or you'd be running straight across the grain with it. You can go ahead and sand it with the power drive and not have to worry about a bunch of extra work to get crazy scratches out. And we never want to say scratch free because we actually need scratches in the floor. But we don't want those to be discernible to the eye, definitely not to ours or to our customers. So we like to say this creates the optimal scratch pattern because you need scratches in the floor for proper surface tension when you're putting on, whether it's stain, but really sealers, finishes, paint, and we need it to be open, especially if we're adding colorants to the floor. So it's not scratch free, but it's putting that optimal scratch pattern in the floor that we can count on with the Bona Power Drive. So with all that, let's go ahead and take a look at how we can best utilize the Bona Power Drive to help create beautiful floors every time.